Our first award, as I hinted earlier, is our Inspiration Award. This award is reserved for incredible people who, when confronted with a life-changing event, display determination, perseverance, and courage, and serve as role models to others. I had the pleasure to meet our Inspiration Award recipient earlier this afternoon. His name, Bob Grant.
Athletically, I always competed well. And I don't say this arrogantly, because with my high school coach and my grandfather, the charge that they gave me when I went to Wake Forest is, you must always be the best player on the field. I was always the best player on the field. Not so much because of talent, but because I knew that I represented something that was larger than myself. I am Robert Grant. I attended Wake Forest University when we integrated college sport back in 1964. Coming out of high school, I had about 40 different offers. I had planned to go attend Michigan State. Everyone in the country knew that they would be winning a national championship, so that was my choice. And my high school coach called me into his office. He held the picture up and he said, "Do you know who this white man is?" I told him, "Well, no, I don't even know a lot of white people." He said, "This is Coach Bill Tate, and up at Wake Forest University, they're getting ready to integrate major college sport in the South." I was thinking to myself, well, Coach, what are you telling me this for? I'm going to Michigan State. And he said, "This is where we're going." So that was it. You know, I didn't have a choice. I would never argue back with my coach. At that time in 1964, if we said hello to many of the people on campus, they didn't really want to be seen associating with the black players. So what we had was we had each other. I went there determined to do what my grandfather told me to do. He says, you go up there and you turn in a championship performance in everything that you do. And don't worry about what other people think. And he was right. It took 4 years for us to bring that around. And while it was never really perfect at that time, there's still work to be done in our society. But sports has a way of opening doors, which it still does today. And you look in the stands today and there's a rainbow of color. You look on the field and there's a rainbow of color there. So we have made tremendous progress, the retired players. But we try to use the money that we make to make life better, not just for retired football players, but for other people in our society who are in need too. You know, my boyhood dream was to become a professional football player. It's about finding something that you have a passion for, that you're willing to put in the work for, and it doesn't happen in one day. It takes a lifetime commitment. We can do much more than we believe that we can. If you want to excel, commit to giving better than your best in whatever it is that you're doing. Sports has always been an impetus for change, and I was a person who was committed to contributing to making change and bringing about change in this country.
Please join me in welcoming from Wake Forest, Kevin Smith, Regional Director of Development, and a man that defines courage, that went in 1964 and helped integrate the South in college football at Wake Forest, Bob Grant. Bob, as you so eloquently said in that video, you were a trailblazer for change in the 60s, continued to be someone who advocated for change. For those in this generation, what's your advice for them to continue what you started and others like you?
Well, I believe that we have to, first of all, believe in each other. So I would say, greeting to all of you Americans. We live in the greatest country on earth. Not very many people are out at the airports leaving here to go someplace else. We don't have a perfect country, but there is no such thing as perfection in this universe except our Almighty Creator. But our job here is to do the very best that we can and work toward perfection. Fortunately, we have team sports, and team sports is the single activity that erases color in people's vision on Friday nights at high school games, on Saturdays at college football games. I'm just going to pick one team. When Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, scores a touchdown, we can have a banker here, and we can have someone over here sitting beside him that works at the local feed store. They are both up on their feet, screaming and doing, what do they call that thing now, the high five or one of those things that you're there. Only sports can do that. And sports teaches us to work together.
Thank you, Bob.